Stitch by stitch, this unique work of art draws together the threads of the biggest seaborne military invasion in the history of the world. This is the Overlord embroidery, named after Operation Overlord, the code name given to the Allied invasion of Nazi-occupied France, which heralded the beginning of the end of World War II in Europe. And it all started on the 6th of June 1944, which is 70 years ago this week. With hymns recorded over the years from congregations with special reasons to remember D-Day, we hear how Christian soldiers kept the faith during times of war. And we discovered that not all war memorials are made of stone and bronze. Although Remembrance Sunday is marked just once a year, war memorials stand at the heart of communities all over the country to remind us of our promise that at every going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. On this 70th anniversary of the largest mobilization of troops ever seen, I've come to Portsmouth. This is the home of the D-Day Museum. And that's because this was one of the most crucial locations along our southern shores from which troops set sail on what has become known as the longest day. Today is Ascension Sunday, when we remember Christ, who had overcome death, ascending into heaven to reign as Lord, which is how he's depicted in the D-Day memorial window of Portsmouth's Anglican Cathedral. Based on the words of a 16th century military chaplain, our first hymn reminds us that however frail and vulnerable we might be feeling, we are assured of the might and protection of our Heavenly Father. By 1943, the Allies knew that if they had any chance of winning the war, they had to invade mainland Europe. But how? And where? Months of bluff and double bluff had tricked Hitler into thinking the attack would come via Calais, the shortest route across the Channel. when the real target was Normandy. They came by air just after midnight on the 6th of June 1944, the first assault by 29,000 British, American and Canadian paratroopers. And amongst the first to jump was the late British film star Richard Todd, who some years ago described for Songs of Praise how he and his comrades prepared for battle with prayer.
On the day that D-Day was to take place, in the early evening, we had a drumhead service with blackened faces because we'd been issued with our camouflage paint. And I suppose the thought probably occurred to me at the time, the contrast between what these chaps were preparing for and the job they were going to do and the service they were taking part in at that moment. It was a different world. Here they were singing Onward Christian Soldiers and repeating their prayers. A few hours later, they were going to be in battle. Many of them didn't survive. That's the way of war. I think I'm probably a better person as a result. I think I learned a lot of humility. I learned how to care for other people. I lost a lot of friends. And there's a great deal of my saying thank God, because whether it was someone up there or wherever it was, I was looked after.
Operation Neptune was the code name given to the seaborne assault that followed at dawn that morning. 134,000 men left the shores of England in a flotilla of 7,000 ships. 24 hours later, 19,000 of them had lost their lives. The 50-mile stretch of Normandy coastline was divided into 5 sections: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Sword and Juno, which is where this ship, now in Southampton docks, was then HMS Colshot, a floating headquarters which sent men like Ted Turner, just 18 years old, a British Royal Marine, struggling on to Juno Beach in support of a team of Canadian comrades.
Going in that morning, nobody spoke. Nobody said a word. They were quiet. The only order we had is when we were going over, when we left Portsmouth to go to Normandy, if anybody fell overboard, we just had to keep going. We couldn't stop. Somebody else, hope, would pick them up. As you got closer to the beach, the big guns started opening up. And there was the noise, it was, oh, you never heard so much noise. It's terrific. Well, as we approached, you see, we were being fired at. I could also see the Canadians getting off the landing craft. And you could see them, they went onto the beach, and a lot of them went down, so they were being shot, you know. But you just hope and pray that you'll get through things, and when it comes to things like going to Normandy, then they start praying, even though they're not religious. Everybody starts praying. I don't know if we prayed together. I think we just prayed singly on our own.
Did you feel that God was on your side?
I think he's always been on my side, even now.
How does going back to Normandy make you feel?
I go back to Normandy, you know, twice a year. My friends are over there. Very emotional. And some people would say they got a brother or something like that, or a husband over there. I say, well, when I go over there, I will put some flowers on their grave.